Good day again, everyone. I want to thank our sponsors for this week. Zippy Grunstein, our children and grandchildren, Lili Nishmat, Harry Mayer Grunstein, Tzvi Meir Ben Moshe Yehonatan, Al Shem was Yartzeit, 7th Yartzeit was yesterday. Thank also Doreen and Beryl Eckstein sponsoring, Lili Nishmat, Beryl's brother, Rav Yechiel Tzvi, Ben Rav Shimon Aryeh, Al Shem, whose Yartzeit was yesterday as well. Thank also our weekly sponsors, Donna Robert Honig, Lili Nishmat, Robert Smalachai Chayna Bat, Gershon Eliezer, and Hinda, Allah Shalom. And thank also Chai Full sponsoring this month, Le'ila Nishmat, their beloved son Hillel, Al Shalom Ben Yo Yaakov Sheyichya. It's a very interesting analysis in the first volume of Tunat HaMusar by Rav Dov Katz, and something missing as well. He writes about the Musar movement, and he notes in a very broad-minded historical fashion that there have been four movements in the Jewish people in the last 1,000 years. You may call them revolutions, but really something that changed the course of Jewish life. These movements were what he calls hachakira, philosophical speculation, like Rav Sajagon and the Rambam and Rabbi Yosef Albo, all the great works of philosophy. Whereas from the time of Matan Torah until Rav Sajagon, you don't find a philosophical work that reflects the Torah viewpoint but precisely. So I exclude Philo. The first was philosophical speculation. The second was Musar. Musar meaning the search for ethical perfection, like Rabbeinu Bachya, almost a thousand years ago now, the Chovot HaLevavot, and Rabbeinu Yonah, the Shari Tshuva, and the Ramchal much later in the 1700s, Mesil Yesharim, and other Svarim. Third, Kabbalah, starting with Rabbi Yitzchak Sagi Nohar, the son of the Ravad, also the Ramban, then the Ari, then Rav Moshe Cordovero, etc. And the fourth is Chassidut, the Baal Shem Tov, the Maggid of Mezrich, the Baal HaTanya, etc. All of these things, they have roots in what came before, meaning they weren't completely new, they weren't chidushim. On the other hand, they crystallized certain ideas and expressed certain ideas in ways that were not found before. He excludes from this, of course, the Musar movement, because what the Chovot HaLevavot did and the Shari Tshuva, especially the Ramchal, the Suyah Shomer, says in the introduction, he's not writing anything new. It's all there, but it's culled together in a fashion which makes it both comprehensive and coherent as well. And that, of course, was the precursor to the Musar movement. It goes without saying, no, I'll say it. Each of these movements had tremendous, strenuous opposition from certain quarters in Jewish life. Philosophical speculation, of course, they burned the works of the Rambam. They thought it was a ticket to perdition if you delved into the intricacies of the universe and God. And many people did lose their faith. Musar also, because it felt the feeling was, first of all, that the mitzvot are designed to perfect us, to refine us. With sarefot amabriot, the Medrash says they come to refine us. So why do you need something in addition to that? It's enough to observe the mitzvot. Even the modern Muslim movement had opposition along those grounds. Kabbalah, so too, it was not accessible to the average person. And it was held to be almost a system that was so esoteric that it was limited to the elites of society that we don't want in the Torah world. We're not the Druze, after all. And finally, Chassidut, I don't have to tell you the opposition to Chassidut, it's called the Mitnagdim. What he omitted, interestingly enough, was the fifth movement. And that fifth movement also generated tremendous opposition. And I don't doubt that had he mentioned it, his work would not have achieved the popularity he did across the board in the Jewish Orthodox world. And that is religious Zionism, Tzionut Datid. I understand why he wouldn't mention Zionism, because that was not always at its core a religious movement. Part of the problem. Some would say that certainly for many of them, it was meant to be an anti-religious movement. But religious Zionism, the fact that the return to the land of Israel is the fulfillment of the biblical vision and a precursor, a harbinger of redemption, I would think it would be mentioned. It deserves mention. And yet it wasn't. I can only speculate why. But also, it has the same characteristics of all the others. It's there in the sources, in the Tanakh, in the Gemara, statements throughout rabbinic literature down to 150 years ago, and of course in our day. It had tremendous opposition, religious Zionism, from the secular Zionists, who many of whom till today do not want it and wage war against it, and of course from our co-religionists from the right side, the more fundamentalist side, some of them demonstrating in the streets of Israel now for reasons known only to them, making fools of themselves in the process. So religious Zionism has its opposition. But nonetheless, just like the other movements, Chakira, Musar, Kabbalah, Hasidut, so too the Tzionut Datit, not the party, but the movement, the philosophy, it's here to stay. The facts are on the ground. The road to redemption is being paved right in front of us on a daily basis. So let's call it, at least in terms of the author of this book, the missing movement, the fifth movement. It should be there. I added it in now. Have a good day.